Hey yogis, I'm Caitlin Turner, but most of you might know me as Gypset Goddess, and today we're going to begin day 1 of 7 days of arm balancing poses with Aloe Yoga. Today we're going to go over crow/crane pose, which are really one and the same, but with a small difference that we'll get into. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to Aloe's YouTube channel and comment letting me know that you loved or hated, but I hope not hated, the class. So let's start. Whenever you're working with arm balances, it's so important to engage your core before you start. This will help you lift off, this will help you fly, and it'll also help you avoid injury. So before we jump into our crow crane, why don't you meet me in a high plank? And we'll just hold this for about between 15 and 30 seconds. Listen to your body and feel how long. While you're here, keep the weight even in both your feet and your hands, and think about the intention of squeezing your wrists towards your toes. And you'll find that that really draws your core in tight to the center line. So you can stay here, or maybe you lift your right foot an inch, experimenting with your weight in 3 limbs rather than 4. Other side. Maybe you do a little rock forward and back, just really engaging every area of your abdominal core. And before we get too tired in our plank, let's jump in. So reach your hips up to the sky and meet me in downward dog. And just take a moment here, really pushing into your hands, reaching your hips up and back, finding that nice space and opening through your shoulders. And then just start to tiptoe your feet all the way up to the top, meeting me in a forward fold. So now we're going to jump into it. The way to begin is you want your hands flat on the floor, fingers spread nice and wide, about shoulder distance apart. It's really important to have your bones stacked, so we're going for this straight line from wrist to shoulder, ideally. Again, we're back to how it's about the intention sometimes more than the expression. So we're going to start by walking your feet up as close to your wrists as you can. And then bend your knees so that you can bring your knees nice and high, right up into your armpits. And before we go anywhere, why don't you just experiment here with transferring the weight into your hands, just lightly. Make sure it feels okay, make sure you feel safe. And if you do, then really start to roll your weight forward. And it's okay when you're starting out here to have a little bit of a bend in your elbows. That creates a nice little shelf for your legs to rest on. And just try one at a time. Try lifting one leg. Try lifting the other leg. And if that's as far as it goes today, that's totally fine. You're doing great. If you're ready for the next step, then you lift one leg. Lift the other leg, and try to bring your heels and toes together to touch at the inside edge of your feet. And so now we're in our crow pose. And really the main difference between crow and crane is going to be your arms. So before you go for crane, really squeeze your heels into your hips, take your gaze forward, and then you can start to lengthen through your arms, finding your crane pose. If that's not there today, that's okay too. And you can either come down 1 foot or both feet at a time, or maybe you shoot back to chaturanga. And exhale, downward dog. So that's it for today. One thing that I'll leave you with is that your body goes where your eyes lead. So when you're practicing your crow or your crane, make sure you try to keep your gaze forward, because if you look down, you might fall down. Best of luck, be safe, and thanks for tuning in. Namaste.